Hey, joining us next on the Marr Army Rock Show, we're happy to welcome Brad Cox back to the Marr Army Rock Show. Brad's been with us before with some of his other projects. He's an interesting guy. He's an author. He's a musician. And he's got a brand new project. I'm going to actually let him introduce the name of the project to you and tell us about it. Brad, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, and it's good to talk to you again. We always enjoy catching up with you. So, I usually just say what's going on, but I'm going to let you introduce to the world your brand new project, the name, and tell us what it's all about.
All right. So, the new project is called Veteran Avenue. And what the project is going to consist of is, obviously, over the years, I've worked with a lot of different musicians. I think in Schizo Calypso alone, there were about 30 different players at one point or another. So what I'm trying to do with this project is take all those players and just kind of like mix them up on different tracks. And that's going to become Veteran Avenue.
So this is a really unique concept. So let's run with that a little bit more. Essentially, you're like the band, but you're surrounding yourself on it's almost like an all-star jam with you doing the lead vocals. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm bringing in the song, and then I'm kind of introducing the song to people who have like different styles of playing. So the song that you just heard probably recently called Dead Hour has a lot more like kind of like a swing and rockabilly kind of vibe to it. As where the track that we came out of the gates with, Cast Me, has more of a kind of like somber, dark, almost like post-punk kind of vibe. So it's just a matter of trying to like find the right kind of people for each of these songs.
So let's talk a little bit about the music. There's 3 tunes we're going to play about tonight. So first, let's talk about Cast Me. It was the first one I listened to, and we hear several voices other than yourself in that tune. So talk about that tune.
So Cast Me, the whole concept behind that particular song was to, I guess, express what it is to chase a dream from 3 different perspectives. Now, I'm an older guy, so I'm not going to say my age, but I've been doing this for a very long time. So verse 1 is my perspective, and that perspective is a little bit cynical, weathered, jaded, whatever you want to say. And then I brought Dana in because Dana is about 20 years my junior, but she's extremely talented, and she's really just kind of starting her journey into music, and I really wanted to get her perspective. So I actually left verse 2 completely open. I was like, you approach this however you want to approach it, sing it however you want to sing it. The melody line is up to you, the lyrics are up to you. I want to hear your perspective. And interestingly enough, she kind of had a very similar, almost pre-jadedness to the whole thing. She gets it. It's great. She's just a great personality. And then Tony kind of swoops in at the very end, and he's kind of the voice of reason that, like, despite where you're going, how you feel about all this, at the end of the day, your music will live on whether you do or not. So he's kind of the voice of reason. So he's like the future part. She's like the past part, and I'm like the present.
Now, I was watching the lyric video to Cast Me. It had a real West Coast feel to it. Was that intentional? Was that reminiscent of your time you spent in the industry on the West Coast?
Yeah, so Veteran Avenue is actually where I lived. When I was a kid, I ran off to Los Angeles to be a rock star. Like that was like the playbook. This is what you did, And I lived at 550 Veteran Avenue, so it kind of all came full circle. The artwork is based off this ring I got out there that I have never taken off my hand. I'm like convinced, like Frosty the Snowman, like if I take it off, I'll never write a song again. It's just like this thing that's part of me. So that's where the name came from. And then also just being that a lot of these people are veterans that I'm playing with, like Brian Rumbly and Todd Boyle on Dead Hour. They're part of the John Marr Trio, and they've been playing the local music scene for 25 years. So it's like, everybody's got their piece in this.
So the next tune we listened to as I was prepping for this yesterday was The Love Paradox. So give me a little bit of background on that one.
So The Love Paradox, I mean, most of these songs are about what it is to chase a dream, like how you could chase something that you love, but it could still kind of leave you kind of in a certain level of pain because maybe it wasn't received the way you thought it would be received, or maybe you still have not reached the top of the mountaintop that you're trying to climb up to. So, it's like that bittersweet, how love can actually be kind of painful at times.
So what is your hopes for this project? Because it's so unique. I can imagine this would be, I guess, difficult to perform live, or maybe not so much. Like, have you thought about how, with so many different voices and musicians, what this might look like live?
It is weird because it's kind of unfolding like in real time. Like I did the first song with Dana, and then obviously had Tony sing that third verse, and then I did that second song with Todd and Brian, and the next one's going to have not to spoil anything, but it's got Eric, who I play with in We Love the Underground, and another gentleman who I won't reveal yet. So it's either one of two things is going to happen. Either A, there's going to be a band where we just kind of play the songs as if they were all written by the band, or it's going to be we're going to throw a show and invite everybody that was on this thing out to kind of come up and play their parts. But as far as like a long-term thing, it would have to probably be a band type situation where whether they played on the particular song or not, they're going to be playing on this.
So your longer-term vision for this, is this something you see as a band that could be doing a lot of live shows, maybe a little touring, or is it going to be more, residing in digital world?
No, I think that ultimately that's where I'm heading. Like my daughter's now 17 and a half years old, so I'm getting a lot of more free time, and I would like to be able to go out there and maybe do a little bit more performing, playing a little bit more, maybe going a little bit further, that kind of thing. So that's my long-term goal. I'd like to bring in players that have that type of availability, as we're with Schizo, and obviously We Love the Underground, kind of you saw what happened there. It was tough to hold it all together. Not everybody can always be available, and that's what we're running into with Schizo at this point, which is fine. We'll still pop our heads out and play a show here and there. But this is something I really want to get out there and hopefully tour a little bit with.
Yeah, I was at a show in Harrisburg, PA last night, and I dropped your name to a buddy of yours who puts on a lot of shows up there. I'll shout out to 717, and he mentioned Schizo, so you might need to look him up, man. I think he was looking to get a live Schizo show back up there.
I know. We did the one with Green Jelly a while back, and honestly, we've only played like 3 shows since we got the Alice album out there, and it's tough because I just want to play, and I just know it's not realistic. So I've been playing with these guys for so long that I wouldn't feel right going out and playing without them. So it's kind of left me okay, well, what are you going to do now? And that's where Veteran Avenue kind of spawned from.
Now, the tunes that we're featuring tonight, we're going to play Dead Hour, Love Paradox, and Cast Me. Are these available in digital land? If people like what they're listening to, where can they go to pick them up?
Yeah, they can either go to Bandcamp and look up Veteran Avenue, or they can go to iTunes, or really any of the digital outlets. It's everywhere at this point. So that's actually the tricky thing about the digital world. It's that, you want to hype a premiere, but if anybody's a little bit savvy that's kind of following what you're doing, they can usually find the music before you can actually premiere it. So you always have to be very veiled and just kind of disappear, and then just kind of pop up like, surprise, here's a song. Because otherwise, if you say a song's coming, they can usually go find it.
Yeah, people don't realize that there's got to be a lot of trust in the industry, because from your side, you got to let folks like us listen to it, yet you got to have a lot of faith that folks like us aren't going to share it with the rest of the world until it's released. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And then the other phenomenon that's kind of bittersweet, obviously we have these outlets now, but you put out a song, and if it's something brand new, I noticed this with the book as well. Everybody is there. They are excited. They're right behind you. They're sharing and going crazy. But then the second thing gets about a third of the attention, and then it just kind of becomes an expectation that you're going to continue doing stuff. So less and less people notice, and it's how do you keep that fresh and relevant? So what I'm trying to do is basically just release something maybe once a month, maybe even less. So that when something does come out, it's okay, I should pay attention to this. Yeah, that really is the new model in the music world. It's not the old days where we went out and bought a record, man. It's you're right, releasing it in a stream like that. To that end, hey, are you writing more now? Are you still, I mentioned it before, we usually do when we have you on the show, you've got a novel out there now. Are you working on a new novel, or is that something you're too busy right now with this new project?
I'm too busy. I sat down. I've gotten about 7,000 words into it, but it usually takes about an hour, hour and a half every single night for a year to do both of those. And I don't know if I don't have the drive or whatever, but I just haven't been able to sit down and get to part 3. And it's just going to have to sit for now. I think the creative juices got kind of spilled over back to the music. Where I prefer them anyway at this point.
So as we go out from your segment tonight, I'm going to end with the song Dead Hour Love. And for me at least, and I guess maybe other listeners, it may be the tune I've heard so far that's a little more reminiscent of your Schizo Underground stuff. Tell us a little bit about that tune.
Dead Hour is basically another song about dream chasing. A lot of people don't realize this, but especially in the early days, especially when I was living at home even, I would refer to she as me, and that was kind of my way of expressing something without necessarily anybody knowing it was about me. So this is kind of just a song about me kind of riffing with myself, and again it's about chasing dreams and that whole thing. But if you listen to it, because it's got that kind of folky feel, you're going to think, oh, this must be about a relationship he had, but it's actually not. So
Well, hey, the project is called Veteran Avenue, and there's a Facebook page for it, all the digital, as Brad mentioned. Just kind of go out and Google that. It's on all the digital stuff that you would look at out there. And Brad's out of Baltimore. Man, he's got some great musical history with us here on the Rock Show. We always love covering his projects. And if you get a chance, oh yeah, man, it's always a good time. And if you get a chance to see him performing live, whether it's with Schizo or when Veteran Avenue starts taking stage, don't miss it, because it'll be a good time. So, hey, Brad, thanks for being on the show, man. It's always good to catch up with you.
Absolutely. And just a real quick plug, March 28th, we will be at Angels with Schizo Calypso. So if you want to catch that, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, for those listening, I'm assuming that's Angels Rock Bar in Baltimore, right? Yeah. Right there at the power plant. So check that one out. And I'm assuming they can find details on your Facebook page, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right. Hey, Brad, man, thanks for taking the time with us. And we're going to be playing some great music from you tonight, and look forward to keeping an eye on everything you got going on as always.
All right, brother. Appreciate it.